Miss Adira had passed away, and then she came back to life. Hi, Adira. Hey, sweet girl. Her mother is one of my clueless hens. It was her first time breeding, and all she could do was lay eggs and run away. And she had no idea what to do with the babies or her eggs. So I hatched Adira and her brother in an incubator, and they hatched a few hours apart. And I had two foster pairs who could raise them, but unfortunately, due to the drastic age differences between the other chicks, they did not accept their responsibility of, raising these two babies as their own. Which put me in a situation where I had two babies that were only a few hours old without anyone trying to raise them. So I had to take on the role of hand raising them, which I hate doing because it's very risky and it's a full-time job. I was hand feeding Adira and her brother every hour, and that was a lot of work, which meant I wasn't getting much sleep. Plus I have over 50 animals to take care of at home. So yeah, I've been very, very busy the first couple. And I was so exhausted from being sleep deprived and doing all the hard labor that, I wasn't thinking straight. And Miss Adira was about 14 hours old at the time when I was trying to hand feed her. And she was jumpy. She jumped off my finger and landed on the countertop and bounced over, and like a jelly bean, she fell on the floor and I was not able to catch her. So Adira fell on her back, and me and my partner, we were just standing right there flabbergasted, and I reached out to grab her from the floor. I picked her up and she was hurt. Within 30 seconds, she went from healthy pink to completely white and then blue, indicating that blood loss occurred, or she was just not receiving enough oxygen. Her brain has shut down, her heart has probably shut down, and she went limp, like she was completely limp. My partner just rushed over and he looked at Adira, and I was just holding her completely lifeless, and I was completely overwhelmed with guilt, emotions of anger, fear, all kinds of things. For reference, she was about this size, maybe a little bit smaller because this baby is over a day old. Adira was only half a day old when the incident happened, so she was this tiny. So what do I do in this situation? I completely froze emotionally. I was shut down within seconds with this lifeless body in my hand, and I went into emotional autopilot, and I started doing something I've never done before in my life. I started doing chest compressions on a bird that was 14 hours old. Now, I was certified to do CPR on small animals like dogs and cats and rabbits. Baby birds, not something I was trained or anyone I know was trained. And my partner was like, "Stop, what are you doing? Like, this bird is gone." The bird is gone. I could hear him, and he's a veterinarian, and I'm a veterinary professional as well, but I chose to disengage from everything that was happening around me, and I just went on doing chest compressions on this baby bird, and the body was completely limp. This went on for about 3 minutes, and then I finally noticed something really strange. A very shallow breath turned up, and that was almost like a very slow gasp. So I went on and on and on, and I got another breath, and they were about 15 to 20 seconds intervals apart, which isn't a good sign, but hey, it's a breath and another. And my partner was like, "Well, she might be breathing, she might not be breathing, but we need to throw her in an incubator." And I decided that would be the right thing to do as well, because there isn't much I can do beyond chest compressions, and overdoing it could break whatever bones she has. So after I've got a few breaths, I threw her in the incubator, cranked up the temperature to about 37.9 degrees Celsius. I stood there watching her, and the breaths started occurring more frequently from 15 to 20 second intervals. They were about 10 seconds apart, then about 5 seconds apart, and over the span of 10 minutes she was breathing, and I heard the first chirp. I was so overwhelmed with emotion and fear, I was like holding back tears. But there she was. Now she was chirping and she was breathing, but not completely normal. She was showing signs of neurological deficits. She wasn't able to move around in a natural rhythm. She was just kind of flailing back and forth. But babies at that age, they cannot stand or walk. So it's kind of hard to discern between what's normal and what's abnormal in a bird that small. And there's nothing you could medically do for an animal this small. You cannot even give any drug that is dosed for an animal that is 1.5 grams. Within 20 minutes, she was chirping and mobile. And then I thought, I'm going to try placing her with another female I have who was nesting. And we decided maybe a mother's touch can bring her back. And I stayed up all night, went back and forth, checked up on her in the nest with Moira. And, overnight she did well. She was still here. Today she is 11 days old and still here with us, completely normal. Very loud, very fussy, very strong, and very well fed. So her being here today is nothing short of a miracle. And my partner was like, I want to name her Adira, which means powerful and mighty in Hebrew. And I said, you know what? That's fine. A name suited for a girl who never gave up, because I never gave up on her. So miracles do happen. She is the living proof of it. I'm going to let her go back home with her mother, with her foster mother, because her real mother doesn't know what to do with her. But it's their foster dad, who also happens to be their half-brother, Avon. He's more inclined on taking care of them. Hi, buddy.